In the high-stakes world of Formula 1, the start of a race is often the most perilous moment. With 20 cars launching simultaneously, the potential for chaos is immense. While modern safety measures have significantly reduced the frequency of multi-car pileups, history has witnessed some truly spectacular and harrowing incidents. Let's delve into some of the most dramatic multi-car crashes that have left an indelible mark on the sport. The Marina Bay Street circuit, known for its tight corners and unforgiving barriers, played host to one of the most shocking starts in recent memory. In wet conditions, Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen found themselves entangled with Red Bull's Max Verstappen. As the trio approached turn 1, Räikkönen veered left, colliding with Verstappen, who was simultaneously squeezed by Vettel from the right. The resulting chain reaction not only eliminated all three from contention, but also collected Fernando Alonso's McLaren in the melee. While the stewards deemed it a racing incident, many pointed fingers at Vettel for his aggressive move across the track. The incident was a significant blow to Ferrari's champion aspirations and highlighted the fine margins at play during race starts. The 1987 race at the Osterreichring, now Red Bull Ring, is infamous for its chaotic start sequence. The first attempt was aborted after Martin Brundle's Zakspeed triggered a multi-car collision. The second start proved even more disastrous. Nigel Mansell's Williams suffered clutch issues, causing a sluggish getaway and resulting in a 12-car pileup involving notable names like Riccardo Patrese, Eddie Cheever, and Stefan Johansson. Teams scrambled to repair or replace damaged cars for a third start, which commenced 2 hours later. Philippe Streff was notably absent, as Tyrrell had exhausted its supply of cars. Brundle, having been involved in both previous incidents, took the restart with makeshift bodywork but was later disqualified. Mansell, despite his earlier troubles, dominated the race, finishing nearly a minute ahead of teammate Nelson Piquet. Hockenheim's 1994 race is often remembered for Jos Verstappen's pit stop fire, but the opening lap was equally dramatic. Andrea De Cesaris and Pierluigi Martini collided off the start, sending Martini into the pit wall alongside Alex Zanardi. Simultaneously, De Cesaris collected Michele Alboreto, eliminating all 4 Italian drivers. At turn 1, Mika Häkkinen's McLaren was sent head-on into the tyre barrier after contact with David Coulthard's Williams, triggering a chain reaction that involved Mark Brundle, Eddie Irvine, Rubens Barrichello, Johnny Herbert, and Heinz Harald Frentzen. Despite the chaos, Damon Hill managed to continue and finish 8th. Gerhard Berger capitalized on the turmoil, securing victory for Ferrari. The 1998 Belgium Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps stands as one of the most dramatic, controversial, and unforgettable races in the history of Formula 1. On a weekend where championship hopes hung in the balance, Spa delivered a spectacle of chaos. Torrential rain, multiple high-speed crashes, emotional confrontations, and an unexpected victory that nobody could have predicted. The stakes heading into Belgium were enormous. McLaren's Mika Häkkinen held a slim 7-point lead over Ferrari's Michael Schumacher in the Drivers' Championship. With just a few races remaining, Spa was more than just another stop on the calendar. It was a crucial battleground in the title fight. Qualifying seemed to go McLaren's way, with Häkkinen securing pole position and David Coulthard lining up second. Schumacher, meanwhile, was forced to settle for 4th on the grid after having his best lap time deleted for exceeding track limits. But the biggest twist came not from strategy or tyre choices, but from the sky itself. Race day arrived soaked in relentless rain, reducing visibility to almost nothing and turning the already demanding circuit into a treacherous minefield. As the lights went out, Häkkinen led the charge into turn 1, but behind him, everything unraveled in an instant. David Coulthard, on a soaked surface with zero grip, lost control of his McLaren before even reaching the first corner. He slammed into the barriers and bounced straight back onto the racing line, where the rest of the field, blinded by the spray, had no chance of avoiding a collision. What followed was one of the most catastrophic first-lap pileups in the sport's history. 13 cars were involved, debris littered the track, and carbon fiber was everywhere. Incredibly, no serious injuries were reported, but the red flag was inevitable. After a lengthy delay, the race was restarted, but the drama didn't stop there. On the very first lap of the restart, Hakkinen spun in wet conditions and was promptly collected by Johnny Herbert's Sauber, knocking both out of the race. Coulthard, starting from the pit lane in a spare car, clashed with Alexander Wurz Benetton, damaging his front wing and relegating him to the back of the field. Amidst the chaos, Schumacher had quietly positioned himself to capitalize. The Ferrari driver avoided the early collisions and began carving out a significant lead in the wet. His mastery in the rain was on full display as he built a commanding 15-second gap over the surprise contender in second place, Jordan's Damon Hill. But the calm at the front was only temporary. On lap 24, as Schumacher approached to lap Coulthard's damaged McLaren, disaster struck. In almost zero visibility, Schumacher plowed into the back of the McLaren at full speed. Coulthard had lifted off the throttle on the racing line without clearly moving aside or signalling his intentions. The collision was violent. Schumacher's front suspension shattered, ending his race on the spot. Coulthard limped back to the pits and retired as well. The incident sent shockwaves through the paddock. Furious, Schumacher stormed out of his damaged Ferrari and made his way directly to the McLaren garage, visibly enraged and accusing Coulthard of deliberately causing the crash. Security and team personnel had to physically restrain the Ferrari driver as tempers flared in one of the most heated confrontations ever seen in the sport. The aftermath of the crash triggered an avalanche of blame and speculation. Ferrari and Schumacher fans argued that Coulthard's actions were reckless at best and malicious at worst. McLaren maintained that their driver had slowed down safely to allow Schumacher to pass. In the official investigation, the stewards ruled it a racing incident, but the controversy didn't die down for months. But this is not the only wet disaster we have for you today. Stick around until the end of the video. A dramatic multi-car crash brought out the first of two red flags during the Tuscan Grand Prix at Mugello, halting the race for 25 minutes. The chaos unfolded on lap 7, just after a safety car period that followed an earlier incident involving Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly. As the race started, Valtteri Bottas, leading after outpacing Lewis Hamilton at the initial start, was forced to manage the pack along the unusually long straight between the safety car line and the start-finish line. Due to the late deactivation of the safety car lights, Bottas couldn't build a gap before the restart and was left crawling to avoid giving Hamilton a slipstream. Drivers behind, anticipating the acceleration, began speeding up and slowing down unpredictably. This created a concertina effect through the pack, leading to a massive rear-end collision involving Carlos Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi, all eliminated on the spot. The accident was blamed on the unique layout of the Mugello circuit and the late timing of the safety car lights. Ultimately, the crash reshaped the race, allowing Hamilton to retake the lead at the restart and go on to win, with Bottas unable to respond. The Hungarian Grand Prix was dramatically red flagged after a chaotic multi-car crash at the first corner of the race. The wet conditions played a major role, with 19 drivers starting on intermediate tyres and Antonio Giovinazzi opting for slicks during the formation lap. Pole sitter Lewis Hamilton got off the line cleanly, but his Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas struggled at the start. Bottas was quickly overtaken by several drivers and then misjudged his braking into turn 1, slamming into the back of Lando Norris. This impact pushed Norris into Max Verstappen, while Bottas himself slid into Sergio Perez, eliminating all three. Simultaneously, Lance Stroll miscalculated his braking point, took to the grass to avoid the traffic, and collided with Charles Leclerc. Leclerc then spun into Daniel Ricciardo. In total, 5 drivers, Bottas, Perez, Leclerc, Stroll, and Norris, were forced to retire from the race due to the crashes. Verstappen and Ricciardo sustained damage but managed to continue. The safety car was initially deployed, but with so many cars damaged and debris scattered, the race was red flagged on lap 2. The restart was scheduled with Hamilton at the front, followed by Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel. Verstappen was set to restart in 13th place. The 2024 Formula 1 Monaco Grand Prix was red flagged on the opening lap following a major multi-car crash involving Red Bull's Sergio Perez and both Haas drivers Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg. The incident occurred on the high-speed climb through Beau Rivage. Magnussen attempted an ambitious overtake on Perez, making contact and sending the Red Bull driver hard into the barriers, destroying his car. As Perez spun back onto the track, he clipped Hülkenberg, leaving all three cars severely damaged and out of the race. Despite the dramatic crash, all three drivers emerged uninjured. However, the sheer amount of debris and barrier damage forced race officials to halt the event temporarily with a red flag. Commentator Martin Brundle criticized Magnussen's decision-making, suggesting the move was overly aggressive and unnecessary, especially considering the tight nature of the circuit and the positioning of the cars. There was a moment when K-Mag should have abandoned that. It wasn't worth the risk, Brundle stated. Multi-car crashes have always been one of the most dangerous aspects of motorsport. However, thanks to stricter safety regulations, advanced technology, and improved race conditions, like avoiding heavy rain starts, they've become increasingly rare in modern Formula 1. What do you think? Have we overlooked any major incidents? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more F1 updates.